Good evening, viewer. You're most welcome to the Nilecast on Westnile Television, where we give you the daily news bulletins of the day, every day from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. My name is Okumringa Christine. Before we dive into any of the stories, let's first have a look at the news making headlines. In the headlines tonight, over 600 children ran against malnutrition in Arua City. Pakwach leaders appeal to the Archbishop Church of Uganda to seek government intervention on fishing policy. And President Museveni clears 110 UPDF general officers and senior officers for retirement. This and more in the Nilecast News Bulletin. It's Monday the 3rd of July 2023, and you're most welcome to the Nilecast on Westnile Television. Now let us dive into some of the stories of the evening. Tender Mothers Organization organized a kids run in Arua City on the 2nd of July 2023, themed "A Happy Mother Equals a Happy Child," that attracted 600 children from different backgrounds participating in several activities such as running, face painting, bouncing castles, apple eating competition, sack race, among others. Farish Majid reports more.
Tender Mothers, a non-government organization aiming at fighting malnutrition, organized the Kids Run in Arua City on 2nd of June 2023 under the theme, "A Happy Mother Equals to a Happy Child." The event attracted over 600 children from different backgrounds participating in several activities such as running, face painting, bouncing castles, apple eating competitions, sack race, among other games. Aikoru Comfort Mildred, the founder and the team leader who initiated the run, says they aim at raising finances to help construct a nutrition hospital in the region.
We've been in operation for the past 2 years, and we've had over 30 mothers that we've impacted, helping them to give them some food supplements, some food as well. Then we've worked with some nutrition professionals from Arua Hospital and Oluko Health Center, whereby we reach to these mothers and their children as well. So from this run, we're looking at going back to these communities, increase the number of people we're looking after, and we're planning to buy land and see that they work for themselves, because we want to empower them to work for themselves, and we teach them what is it that leads to a good nutrition. So with that, we have a bigger vision of saying that we put up a nutrition hospital. So we don't want to just stop at working partnering with other health centers, but in 5 years' time, we're looking at having a hospital of our own.
Miss Uganda Westnile Asibazo Jacqueline, who was also in attendance, applauded those who turned up to attend the event.
How are you doing? Thank you so much for participating in this good cause. Thank you so much for running. To our parents, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for supporting the community. Thank you so much for supporting the malnourished children. We love you, and we hope that you can keep doing this for the community. And to Madam Mildred, thank you so much for the invite. Thank you so much for organizing such initiative for our communities. We pray for good health, and we pray that God gives you more strength to organize more and more. We shall always support you. My team is here. We shall always come through when such events happen. And to everyone who has supported.
Some of the participants in the Kids Run also shared their experiences.
Bonge la mwanamke kama mimi na perform, yani hii ni kama exercise kwetu na watoto wetu. Tumefurahi sana, asante kwenyu, mkuje tena, tumemkaribia.
Mwenyezi Mungu si Dennis. Then I have come here to attend this fun run of kids to fight against malnutrition. It's so amazing, and it's so nice.
Once they understand it, they will be able to have the very good appetite to eat and always be healthy. So it was very encouraging for a child who has very poor appetite to give a life example to understand what it means to be malnourished.
My name is Babire Frank. I am from Mother Mary Junior School. I am 8 years old. I thank my parents to take me here. I want to come here again and enjoy fun. I enjoyed running. I enjoyed every activity we done. I enjoyed everything. Thanks.
According to the 2016 Uganda Demographic Health Survey, malnutrition in the West Nile sub-region stood at a towering 10.4%. However, efforts by a number of stakeholders such as UNICEF over the years has witnessed a drop by double to 3.3% in 2021. Farish Majid, Westnile TV.
And more in our stories for the evening. The State Minister for Northern Uganda, Honorable Kuyuchin Grace Freedom, is called upon the private sector to come in and support local governments in implementation of government programs. According to the minister, the missing link between the government programs and the private sector is a reason why many government programs targeting economic growth have been failing in the region. Stephen Okello from Gulu reports more.
The State Minister for Northern Uganda, Grace Freedom Kuyuchin, has called upon private sector to come together with government in the implementation of government programs at local levels.
But this I'm talking about industrial parks, where government will come and support you, give all the facilities, electricity, the roads, the waters and so on, and then you put your processing plants there for value addition.
Minister also highlighted the importance of private sector in the implementation of Paris development model.
Then entrepreneurship. This is where the skills and knowledge is. Again, you are the best people who can train, who can model. We have many girls and boys.
This came during a stakeholders meeting which was organized by Northern Uganda Regional Development Forum, NODEF, with support from USAID, and it has brought together local investors in Acholi, West Nile, and Lango sub-region to discuss how they can develop the North.
As people from the North, we use a meaningful approach to see that whatever engagement that the President wants to engage the population to steer development and economic growth, we are there first.
Tom Chakwise, the chief of party USAID in Uganda, says they are coming in to build the capacity of NODREF to develop and unite stakeholders from different sectors in the region to speak the same language on development.
I want to reach a level where everywhere you go in this region and mention to them, people know what NODREF is. We don't want just to remain here. So we are thinking that in the next 3 years, NODREF should be a household name in Northern Uganda.
Ichogor Charles, Gulu Resident District Commissioner, applauded the minister by saying bringing private sector closer to government will go a long way in addressing mindset change on government programs at grassroots.
High time as we implement programs of government like the PDM now, we must build synergy with the private sector because they are running the economy of this country.
To change the narrative of poverty in northern Uganda, government is bringing on board the local investors to take lead in fighting poverty out of the region. Stephen Okello for West Nile Television, Nilecast.
And more in our stories for the evening. The low entry and completion rate among persons with disabilities to formal education is worrying stakeholders, as majority of them remain poor, yet they could be responsible citizens in the near future. According to the VNG International, a lead partner in disability inclusion in Arua City, the average high level of education attained by a person with disabilities in the city is primary 4, which earns nothing in the employment sector. Frederick Jamadri reports more.
Stakeholders advocating for disability inclusion in Arua City are expressing worries over the low level of education among persons with disabilities. This is informed by Persons with Disability Situation Profiling Study conducted by VNG International and her consortium partners in March 2023, which indicates that out of 4,731 persons with disabilities in the city, 1,350 of them have never attended any form of education. 2,854 of them have only reached in primary. Of these, 358 of them went to secondary, while 65 of them went to A-level. However, only 29 of the 4,731 persons with disabilities in the city attended degree education, giving an average education rating among the persons with disabilities at primary 4. Moses Bayo, the Regional Capacity Building Officer, Westnile at VNG International, says there is need for partners to come together to address the existing gaps in disability inclusion.
Education is a big problem. Actually, the average, now with this, the average, when we calculated the average level of education of persons with disability in the city, average is P4. Average is P4. Because if you only have 29 graduates, 49 diplomas. Okay? If you're sharp enough, you can be compared with the others. But for now, I don't explain Arua City. So we need support, we need to support education of our persons with disability in the city.
Whereas the Deputy Mayor of Arua City, Nzikuru Nelson Mili, admits that the city has gaps in implementing disability inclusiveness in all its programming due to resource constraints.
We know we are lacking institutions like the secondary school for the deaf, even for the blind, although we have put on program the one of the deaf. If we could contribute, we say we want this institution to be constructed. Where is the land? Let the council provide the land. Let us come into partner or serious or with something. For me, I will do this. We are going to provide bricks. We are going to provide these materials so that at least in a year we can come up with one structure. And then we start putting those who have already finished with their O-level, they want to go to secondary.
According to Delia Annette, the inspector of schools in charge of special needs education in Arua City, a huge number of learners who do not have any form of education is a threat to national security and calls on partners to venture into skills training for them.
We all have our abilities in one way or the other. The best is to assess these learners, to get their strength and build on what they can manage. There are those who can manage hands-on work. So you train them so that at least they have something to earn a living from.
Some of the partners share their commitments towards Arua City local inclusion agenda tailored towards achieving strategic goals in ensuring inclusiveness.
Others may have ramps. The ramps are so steep that you cannot, someone who is on a wheelchair cannot even go on it, lest they fall. Yes, you can see that some of them cannot go, even access the toilets. We've talked about the toilets. They are just not accessible. We need to lobby. If we need a wheelchair, we need to lobby. If we need white cane, we need to lobby.
Once we increase and strengthen the collaboration and coordination, definitely we will not fail to get persons who need the services.
Meanwhile, the Speaker of Arua City, Yeko Teddy Gloria, explains that there's been a constitutional mandate. All the stakeholders need to ensure inclusiveness and fair treatment for all in order to achieve the strategic goals.
This is constitutional mandate. It is provided for in the Constitution. First of all, what you have put down there in the draft, they have a right to own land, to access land, to own property. They have right to education, to be educated like any of us. They have right to access health. It is all provided for. And also they have a right to be economically empowered. This is what we have put down in this draft.
Arua City has drafted a local inclusion agenda worth 518,820,000 Ugandan shillings, which runs for 5 years until 2028 to ensure equitable access to services for both persons with disabilities and those without any form of impairment. Frederick Dramatri, Christine Okumoringa, Westnile TV, Nilecast.
And more in our stories for the evening. In order for the degraded fragile ecosystem to be restored and conserved, Nature Uganda has equipped the locals living around Yelulu Swamp and Woodland in Terego District with the skills and knowledge on how to protect the ecosystem and use the nature to improve on their livelihood. Dennis Saringi reports more.
This is beautiful swamp with its natural trees and vibrant life. It is Yelulu Swamp located in Terego District, one of the districts hosting refugees in Westnile sub-region. It is a sanctuary of serenity, a testament to the resiliency of nature and a reminder of the remarkable beauty that can be found in even the most unassuming places. In order to have this kind of serenity continuous, Nature Uganda with its approach that aims at restoring and conserving the degraded fragile ecosystems that should in turn improve community livelihoods among the refugees and host communities of West Nile have trained the locals drawn from the villages of Manipi, Joya, Aligoi and Yelulu, all in Terego District, which are villages surrounding the swamp on agroforestry.
Naka Sazori. Ilikwe. Miki Sarube. Ino to agrofori si druko be munipalo ko desi mibasi. Ore tambazor. Ilikwe. Land de aruni. Nakuni. De aruni ewule.
Those who turned up for the training comprise landowners and residents vulnerable and special groups including women, the elderly, youth and physically challenged groups in a set area within the buffer from the boundary of the refugee settlements.
People-centered kind of approach that we get your views from here because it is hard. You don't have you may not have NEMA come here, you may not have district reach here to understand the people's views. So we bridge that gap and getting the views from the people helps us come up with better policies that are represented.
During the theoretical portion of the training, farmers learn about the ecological importance of natural resources, their role in water purification, flood control, and biodiversity conservation.
Sasa miremu miasa kuko afada ambududa mina rutamba. Sasa mi yitiri. Mina rutamba. Sasa mi bulega afa avu maleda yikimutira mina rutamba. Ide zone fari druku.
Practical training sessions are focused on how farmers can use the available tools to improve on growth of the available woodland and the sustainable farming practices that minimize the negative impacts on the woodland and the available ecosystem.
Things started in Nigeria, in a region called Maranti, because since that area is semi-desert, these standing trees, the stems of the trees, we believe they are resistant. They are so hard to the conditions. So that's why these things are really practiced here. You know, we have been having issues of woodlot establishment with the seedlings. So it has been, you see, when the dry spell comes like that, all the seedlings, they dry off like that. So this one here has been proved to be a very nice practice, where in any case, if anyone has interest in it, will at the end of it green our place.
In Terego, we have worked with communities around Yelulu wetland. It is one of the sites that we identified for restoration. We've worked with these communities. We've supported 150 farmers in agroforestry. We've trained communities in agroforestry practices, sustainable land management, and today we continued and trained farmers on farmer-managed natural regeneration. We have over 85 hectares established under agroforestry, and in Kamwenge, Chegegwa, we have worked on 4 wetlands, and we have demarcated 39 kilometers in mid-Albertine Rift. So we are still with the people of Yelulu, who are close to a key ecosystem, Yellow wetland, that supports a number of host communities and people from the refugee settlement. Continue to train communities in agroforestry, sustainable land management, climate smart agriculture, because we want to see the land become productive. We want to see increased productivity to improve the livelihoods of the communities, but also ensure that we continue with biodiversity conservation.
Apart from the training given to the farmers, Anke says Nature Uganda has supported the beneficiaries and will continue to support them in ensuring that the mission of restoring and conserving the degraded fragile ecosystems is achieved.
So as Nature Uganda, we've already supported farmers by giving them tree seedlings. We are going to support farmers by giving them tools to carry out practices such as farmer-managed natural regeneration. We are also going to support them with livelihood options such as we are going to give them beehives for beekeeping, and much more support is on the way for the communities that you are working with.
The project collaborates with Office of the Prime Minister, Ministry of Water and Environment, Uganda Wildlife Authority, district local government, and non-governmental institutions responsible for environment protection and biodiversity conservation and improved environmental planning. The consortium is composed of Uganda Biodiversity Fund as a coordinating agency and Wildlife Conservation Society, Nature Uganda, an ecological Christian organization as technical implementers. The project is being implemented in the districts of Chikube, Chegegwa and Kamwenge in Mid-Albertine region and Terego and Yumbe in Westnile region. Dennis Oringi, Westnile TV, Nile Coast.
And more in our stories for the evening. Political and technical leaders in Terego district are concerned over the appalling state of Nyara Bridge connecting Bilife, Leju and Oriama sub-county, which is attributed to sand mining that has resulted into the diversion of water flow, hence causing breakage of the bridge. Osuta Yusuf reports more. Political and technical leaders in Terego district are concerned over the state of roads in the district, one of which they monitored in Leju Town Council in order to assess the situations. During the monitoring tour of the Terego West constituency, the LC3 chairperson for Leju Town Council, Honorable Nyakusi John Bosco, decried the appalling state of Nyara Bridge connecting Bilife, Leju and Oriama sub-county, which he attributed to sand mining that resulted into the diversion of water flow, hence causing breakage of the bridge.
This bridge was constructed in the early 2000, and I think because of sand mining up, the water started diverting, taking another direction. So as it diverted away from the main open space that it used to pass through, it equally left the bridge and started opening this gully, you see this side, until the whole water started moving in the gully and opened itself its own way. The way the state is now. I strongly believe one of the causes was sand mining somewhere, which started now taking the direction of the water off the real trend. This road is very much important. One, for the people of Uriama sub-county, Bilefe sub-county, and this part of Leju Town Council, and Equala Evo, which is stresses this side. Most of the services they get from Arpea Secondary, Arpea Health Center, Arpea Paris, Arpea Trading Center, and the shops. Most of the better services are only got from Arpea. So once it is like this side of Riama, Bilefe, Town Council are completely cut off from services. And the worst now affects children, pupils, students, and peasants. For example, crossing to pick and expecting mother this side here to bring here when it is raining is not easy, and in many occasions we lose life, either the mother or the child, simply because of this state of the road here. Economically it is a viable road because this part here people have been growing tobacco and other cash crops, food crops, where they only find better market in Kubala and Agurwa, and it is this bridge that connects them to Kubala market, to Agurwa market, to the other markets outside, even one day. So economically, it is also a viable place that we need to look at and put into place.
District Secretary for Works Honorable Enzima Jens Nandua thanked Honorable Leku Joel for dedicating his time to do an oversight. And more in our stories for the evening. Leaders in Pakwach district have appealed to the Archbishop Church of Uganda, His Grace Dr. Stephen Kazimba Mugalu, to intervene so the government can ease the operations on the River Nile. The leaders' concerns came after the government's policy on aquaculture fisheries barred fishermen from using undersized fishing gears, leading to the loss of economic activities on the River Nile and Lake Albert. Let's have more on that story.
Leaders in Pakwach district have appealed to Archbishop Church of Uganda, His Grace Dr. Stephen Kazimba Mugalu, to intervene so that the government can ease operations over River Nile. The leaders presented their plights on Sunday during the second pastoral visit of Archbishop Dr. Stephen Kazimba Mugalu to Jonam Archdeaconry, Pakwach district. Their concerns came after the government's policy on aquaculture and fisheries barred fishermen from using undersized fishing gears. According to Pakwach district leaders, the fishermen have lost their economic activities on River Nile and Lake Albert. Avurjan Pacheto, the Pakwach woman member of parliament, said her people no longer fish on River Nile, hence making some families spend a day without a meal. Avur also explained that the Archbishop can draw attention of the government to ease operations of the Fisheries Protection Unit on River Nile and Lake Albert.
We have already put our case to government that in some parts of Uganda, the fishing communities are working on different water bodies that require different boat sizes. And I believe and trust that this aspect will be put into consideration. We have also put to government the fact that we are coming out of COVID, we came out of flooding and drought and all these other challenges that like every person is having in Uganda, the inflation that went up due to the high prices in fuel. So there is a need to come up with an affirmative action for the fisheries communities in Uganda, particularly Pakwach, because some areas of the fisheries community did not experience flooding or famine like we did. But for Pakwach, we went through all these challenges. We therefore appeal to government to either, in fact, for me, my appeal is that government should come up with a grant so that these people can be able to buy the right fishing gears in form of nets and in form of boats. They should be supported so that their household income that the president is advocating for, all of us are advocating for, they are inclusive in this whole process.
Meanwhile, Jonam County Member of Parliament Emmanuel Jor Onyerto asserted that over 1,200 boats and 2,263 fishing gears were impounded since the operations commenced in 2019.
Our people are now made more poor because our land, where our people get money, where our people get food, is across the Nile. Because the Jonam people are actually people whose origin is across the Nile. We were brought here by the by the British government because of tsetse fly infestation. The other side, we respected, we came. And after some period of time when the place was degazetted, our people went back to cultivate there. And every clan know where their area is. Unfortunately, we have clever people, and because also the districts there are not our districts here, they use their land boards to dispute the land to other people and people of the other side. So we have been chased this side, now we cannot cultivate enough. We have cried and cried and cried. With my sister in parliament, we have presented issues very many times. We have never been heard. If you have an opportunity to whisper where power belongs, whisper for us. Whisper for us.
In response, the Archbishop of Church of Uganda, Dr. Stephen Kazimba Mugalu, advised fishermen to use recommended fishing gears, as this is a government policy to protect premature fish. The Archbishop noted that the operations are not only in Pakwach district, but countrywide.
I want to talk about the issue of fishing. I don't know how it is this side, but in our side, in Mukono district, some areas were also affected. But the problem on our side, it was the bad fishing. People would bring the nets and take everything. And now the government stopped them. And they were not cooperative. So they could really take them by force. But now after a while, we see fishes coming back. We had lost everything. I don't know how it is here. But that's our problem in Mukono. And we started talking to the people, please cooperate. After cooperating, now they are beginning to benefit. If it's the same problem here, let me invite you to cooperate. Don't just be annoyed. These soldiers are attacking us. They are saving you. They want you to have something to eat. Because if you don't cooperate, you will be near the lake without any fish.
Recently, the State Minister for Fisheries and Animal Husbandry, Helen Adowa, visited the landing site to sensitize fishermen on the new government laws governing water bodies, but her visit received mixed reactions from fishermen in Pakwach district. The Archbishop Church of Uganda started his 7 days of pastoral visit to the Westnile region with the Koro Archdeaconry in Zombo district. On Sunday, he was in Jonam Archdeaconry, and today he was in Padiri Archdeaconry and Goli Central Archdeaconry, respectively. Alfred Jawok, Westnile TV, Nilecast.
And more in our stories for the evening. The State Minister for Northern Uganda, Honorable Kuyuchin Grace Freedom, has encouraged parents to support education of their children in order to improve on the lifestyle of their families. Eulogizing the Honorable late Justice Stella Amoko Arach, who served 44 years in the Uganda judicial system with the highest rank at the Supreme Court till the time of her death in Nebi municipality, Minister Kuyuchin stated that the high increasing number of learners out of school is threatening not only the institutional performance but also insecurity to the nation. Let's have more on that story.
The Greater Nebi, the West Nile region, as far as education is concerned, and remember Stella as an icon and a leader, especially for the women of this region in education. She went to university before many of us, and we looked to her as a role model. And we don't think there were any challenges for her to excel. It was on merit during a difficult time, a time when the girl child, I think, was not being thought about as today, with many programs targeting the girl child. But for her, she braved it and opened the way for all of us girls who followed later. Education in this area is difficult. You must have read some statistics. About 12% of children from P7 going to Senior 1. And in that 12%, I've not analyzed properly to establish how many girls go from P7 to Senior 1. There is no OB of primary school get lost. But they were joking. But it also dawned on me, our people, before Makakai, OB me primary school will pay. Wasomo washidu is senior washid university, watim tish kati shunen, kati shupe watim tish mamua. So Majiki primary edong terika kamokungo. Majiki secondary de terika kamokungo. Let's take education serious.
And more and to end our nowcast for the evening, His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and the Commander-in-Chief of the Uganda People's Defense Force has approved the retirement of 110 general officers, 11 senior officers from the UPDF, and 99 general officers from the rank from Major to Colonel. The general officers and senior officers will retire on the 31st of August 2023. And with that story, viewer, we've come to the end of the Nilecast on Westnile Television. Thank you for being with us from the beginning of the Nilecast to the end of the Nilecast, only on Westnile Television. Please stay tuned to the rest of the subsequent programs that may follow. My name is Okumaringa Christine. Have a good evening.